So I'm not sure where I first heard about this. It's the idea of don't break the streak. It's like if you have something, a habit you want to form, you could, Jerry Seinfeld, I heard about that in the Tiny Habits book, and then I heard it again in the book I'm currently reading, Deep Work. It's this thing Jerry Seinfeld came up with. It was don't break the streak. So what he does is his whole thing is he knows he has to write jokes every single day in order to maintain his success, or at least when he was really active. I don't know what he's doing now, but it's advice that he gave to a comedian that came up to him and was like, what can I do to build my comedy career? And so his advice was to commit to writing jokes every single day. And what he does is he has a calendar where every day he writes a joke, he writes a red X, or I don't know how many jokes he has to write, but he draws a red X through that day. And then after so many days, you see a streak, and then you just don't want to break the streak. Your mind, it becomes easier to stay on track because you know you have a streak going. So if you say you're 14 days in and then you break the streak, then you're starting over from day one. It makes it a lot easier to not break that. So when I started using it, it was after, so I've talked about this before. I've done 75 Hard several times. And this last time that I did it again, it was the first time I actually really saw through to doing the whole program. So 75 Hard is the first 75 days, and that gets you into what's called the phases. And there's 3 phases, and those are 30 days apiece. I'm not going to get too far into it. You can just Google it or whatever. But when I finished 75 Hard, there was a day in between when I started phase 1, but I still kept working out and doing all of the things. So once I finished phase 1, I realized I had a pretty long streak going of working out every single day. By the time I realized this, I think I was 108 days in, and I was like, shit, I got a good streak going, like I don't want to break that streak. So then I made a commitment to work out every day for 365 days minimum. So I have no intention of breaking that streak, but that's just the kind of goal that I have set for myself for that. And so, at the end of phase 1, you have 30 days you have to wait until you can start phase 2 again. So for me, it was pretty easy to wake up every day and know you're going to work out, because if I stopped and didn't work out that day in 75 Hard, then I would fail and I'd have to start over again. Same thing with phase 1. If you fail 15 days in, you got to start phase 1 over again. So it's a lot easier to stay on track when you know you have to do that every single day. But throughout the times that I've done it, when I've done 75 Hard, that sort of motivation to work out every day, it starts to go away, and then I start to fall off track. It's a pretty common thing. So this time, now that I have this don't break the streak thing, I'm finding it way easier. Like I have to work out or I'm going to break that streak. I think my streak right now is I think it's 124 days. I'm 48 years old. I've never gone that long working out every single day. I'm sure of it. The times when I was younger that I got in really good shape, I didn't work out every day. This is a very new thing to me. So I have a couple other streaks going that aren't that long. So reading every day, I do that pretty regularly, but that's another thing where I've sort of fell off and sort of didn't read, for weeks at a time. And so I have that streak. And then phase 1 of 75 Hard, there's also a visualization component, and I really believe in that stuff. So, but it's hard for me it has been hard for me to maintain that habit. But since phase 1 has that in it, you have to do it or you're going to fail that phase. I started another streak. So after 30 days, I'm like, well, I should just keep this going. So then I have a streak of, visualizing every day. So this idea, this very simple tool is pretty much the same as a lot of different things. It's about stacking wins every single day. And then when you get X amount in a row, then you have a winning streak. It's like it feels good to have that and you don't want to break it. So the more wins you stack, the more confident you become, the longer your streak gets, the more confident you become. And then after a while, if something happens and you break your streak, the idea hopefully is that you're built up enough confidence that you're like, okay, I got one day off. Now I got to get my streak going again. So day one, you're on a 1 day streak, day 2, 3, 4, 5, you just build that streak back up. So I think it's pretty cool. And it's really helping me a lot. It seems like it's going to be one of the tools that I rely on to build good habits for a lifetime. Because if you think about it, and I don't know about you, but like for me, I need all the help I can get when it comes to forming new habits. So like it could even be keeping my desk clean, because like my desk turns to shit like real fast. So I mean, that could even be a streak of X amount of days with no clutter on my desk. I mean, you could literally apply this to anything that you want to add to your life, that you want a habit that you want to build. I think it's incredibly powerful. So, that's all I really could think of as far as talking about it. It's a pretty simple concept, and I think everybody should try it. So I'll just give some examples of some things that I think you could apply it to, but I'm sure the list could be just totally endless. But like I said, working out every day, that's one thing. I know a lot of people have trouble with that, or just even eating healthy or living a healthy lifestyle. I get messages that people that listen to the podcast, and a lot of times when they're struggling with something, that's the first thing I ask. Well, maybe not the first thing, but that's the first thing I think about. I say at some point in that conversation, I'm going to ask them, how's your diet and your exercise? Because I know from experience, being fat and unhealthy and eating like shit, I mean, you don't even have to be fat. If you're eating terrible food, I personally was fat. So, I mean, that's kind of my gauge when I'm looking back on it like that. But if you're eating like shit, you're feeding your mind and your body bad fuel. So if anybody comes and asks me any questions about, about staying positive and all this kind of thing, or mental struggles and stuff, because I have talked about, getting off of meds and stuff like that. So I think maybe that's making some people comfortable to talk to me about that. I'm not a therapist, so I could just tell people like what I did. And I'm telling you the diet and exercise, like that should be priority one. If you're having any problems in any area of your life, you have low energy, you have any health problems, any of that kind of shit. In my opinion, if you're eating like shit, you gotta stop doing that. I mean, that's just what it is. So this breaking the streak can be a really powerful tool to help you in that regard. So if let's say I've personally experienced this too, like being addicted to soda. Like the more of that shit you drink, the more you just only want to drink that. You don't want to drink water. You just want to drink soda. So you could start a streak every day without a soda. All you're focusing on is not drinking that soda that day. That you don't have to think about like, I got to quit this for the rest of my life. No, you just have to do it that day. I'm sure that's part of all kinds of other shit. I would imagine that I'm probably talking out my ass, but I would 100%, I would bet that's part of the getting off of addiction as well, is winning that one day. You're just fighting that one single day. And when you really think about it, that's all you have. I mean, I've talked about that several times. You don't have tomorrow yet, so you just got to focus on doing what you got to do that day, checking off that X on the calendar, and then moving on to the next day, trying to get the X. You could do that to quit smoking. You could do it for positive things. I mean, I've kind of stuck on this somewhat. Some of it's negative, working out every day. Obviously, that's very positive. But let's talk about just real quick graffiti writers. Like if you want to get better at graffiti, then you could make a streak of drawing every single day. You could have a special calendar that's just for that. You put it on your wall. You go like, I'm going to draw every day. I'm going to get into this streak of drawing, and put that red X on the day. Every time you make a drawing, it doesn't even have to be good. You don't have to spend that much time, but you're getting the reps in, and something good's going to come out of it. So that's all I got. I'm going to get out of here. Please share the podcast if you like what we're doing here. Also, I've brought it up several times. Hit me up at Bus166 on Instagram if you're interested in joining our community. We're doing all kinds of positive shit there. So, feel free to hit me up about that. All right. Happy New Year. Peace. All right. Good.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys who are supporting the cause and continue to spread the love. And, stay up.